Hi guys.
Hey.
The day we met, January 20th.
Well, actually, it was like January 19th. Like, he hit me up on a dating app and was like, nice smile.
Yep.
Yeah.
I said it to all the girls. I'm just kidding.
He's not lying. He said, nice smile. And I replied back with, thank you. Nice smile too. Something like that, right?
Yeah, some corny reply.
Yeah.
I was just trying to see what was going to happen.
He wanted to see what was going to stick.
And apparently it stuck because we're together.
But listen, I feel like he sent that out. That was a Friday.
Yes.
So immediately after, I replied back to him with the thank you, nice smile too. He like followed that up with like another message, something to the effect of I'm really not one for like messaging through the app, so can I get your number? And that was
Get them digits.
That was a little off-putting to me. And I'm like, me and my mind, I'm like, all right, I'm on this dating app, I'm only up here for like shits and giggles, but he had a whole another thing in mind, right? He was...
You get that number. Run the digits.
Yeah. So, nevertheless, against my better judgment, I gave him my number, and from that day we chatted, right? Same, like I feel like it was the same night you called me because he was working late.
Yeah.
And he called me when he got off of work, and I did hear him still at work, right, amongst his coworkers. So that was like a green flag, like he's not just saying I'm at work and he out gallivanting in the streets or whatever. So gallivanting in the streets. So yeah, he did.
I'm too grown for gallivanting.
He ain't lying. So what he did do was he did call me, like I said, and we spoke briefly because I'm new to Atlanta. I was new to Atlanta. I was 2 years in, and he had been living in Atlanta for over 20 years. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, like I'm new here, and he was like, oh,
yeah, well, I could be your personal tour guide.
He did say that, and
I'm like, that Southern charm on you. Yeah,
I'm a New York girl, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, this is weird, but whatever, So I'm gonna take a sip on that one. But we spoke briefly that first night, and then the next day, like, he texts me with the whole good morning, beautiful,
Hey, I only speak the truth.
I feel like anyone in that...
If you were hit, I want to say good morning, beautiful.
I feel like you say good morning, not you personally, but I feel like men say good morning, beautiful, it's like a reach. I don't know about
those cats. I say what's on my mind. I only speak the truth. If you were hit, I would have been like, good morning.
No beautiful?
If you ain't beautiful, why would I call you beautiful? I wasn't going to line you up.
Yeah, so he texted me with the whole good morning, beautiful. And I was like, hey, he was at work the next day. And so, as the day progresses or whatever, he hits me up with a, so what you doing later? And I'm like, I'm taking my daughter to the mall. And he kind of was like, so let's meet up for 8 o'clock tonight. And I'm like, 8 o'clock tonight? Like, this is a little much for me. Like, no, like, real talking on the phone, getting to know each other. Like, I'm really going out with a stranger danger type thing. And he's just like...
That could be dangerous in a good way.
I'm done with him. But what I'm saying is, like, I responded back to him like, okay, let me see how long I'm going to be up in this mall. So that was kind of like giving me time to like decide whether or not I really wanted to go out with him, because, typically I would have not gone out with him, but something in the back of my head was just like, go for it. And I went for it. So I texted him back and I was like, okay, you know, we can go out. And he picked somewhere that was very close to me because at that point he was living like close to an hour.
Yeah.
An hour away from me. So he picked a place that was very close to me, and he sent it to me. He was like, how far is this place from you? It was literally right up the block. And I'm like, oh, it's like 10 minutes, you know, because me and my being my paranoid self, I'm like, I'm not giving him the proximity of, you know, my location to.
Gotta be careful out there, ladies.
Exactly. You have to be careful because there are a ton of crazies out there. You really have to be careful. Okay, so, you know, he told me where the place was, and, you know, I'm gonna let him speak from then because, like, this was all his thing going forward from there.
First of all, that was playoff weekend. The New York Giants were playing against my Philadelphia Eagles. So I thought she had to be really special in order for me to sacrifice the game to spend time with her.
Not only that, I do watch football. My son plays football, so I'm a big football fan. Like, I'm understanding the game of football, and I love the game of football.
True.
Yeah.
But the fact that she decided to go out with me to a sports bar told me a lot about her. We didn't have to go to the most elaborate restaurant in the metro Atlanta area. She's down to earth, round the way girl. So I was like, this could be something great.
Mm-hmm.
So we went out. I took one look at her and I was like, I text my brother, definitely a second date.
You heard that, right? You heard that.
Okay. So she texted me when she was in the parking lot, and I told her to let me know when she arrived because I was going to come outside.
I was late.
We'll get into that later. So I go out there. I was going out there to meet her at her car because I didn't want to walk in by herself. But by the time I got out of my seat, she was already at the front door. So I was like, wow. We sat down, ordered some wings.
But wait. Before that, he wanted to, like, open the door to the restaurant and, like, let me in. And that was weird to me because, you know, I'm like, what? Like, yeah, like, he wanted me to sit in my car and wait for him to come to my car and open my car door and let me out. And then let me in the door to the restaurant. And I've never experienced that ever. So that was weird. And I'm like, okay, this guy is different. Like, he is really different. Like, this Southern gentleman thing is like...
Yeah, she's from up top, so...
Yeah, it's beyond me. It's beyond me. Yeah. Okay, so he comes to the restaurant door. I'm already at my car. I think he was a little disappointed because I feel like he really wanted to open my car door.
I did.
All right, so I feel like he was a little disappointed. But nevertheless, you know... I get in the restaurant or whatever. And
sat down, ordered our food. My team was winning, so I didn't really have to pay attention to the game. And then out of the blue, this guy, he wasn't even a waiter. He just came up to me and said, hey, can I ask you a question? Are you an MMA fighter? I was like, am I being pranked?
And I'm like, what the hell? Like, and this, like, fast forward, I'm taking this way further. But every time we go somewhere, like, you know, he's big in stature, they either think he plays football or he's like a fighter or like, you. So, like, it's like weird. But anyway, back to the date. Sorry.
So she said that she was kind of cold and we were sitting side by side. So I told her, I said, well, you can warm your hands up on my massive biceps.
I'm done with him. It was too much, but I really was cold, and he really did warm me up with his
massive biceps. So, needless to say, the Eagles won the game in the blowout. I was feeling good.
Against my Giants.
Against her Giants.
Yeah.
And after the date was over, walked into her car. And I told her, I said, wait here for 1 second. So I went to my car and I brought her back a couple of dozen roses. So now, hold on. This is where things get a little weird. So fast forward, she's like, well, what if I was hit and you didn't like me? And I said, those roses would have been recycled.
Really? Like,
I wasn't going to give them to you if I didn't like you. Come on.
that
would
was
have been
so
sending the
crazy
wrong
to
message.
me. No,
seriously.
Yeah, it probably would have been, but like he already had bought them, right? So if he wasn't attracted to me, if he thought I was hit, like I feel like you should have gave them to me anyway.
Let me think about that.
Like you could have got your money back.
It's a no for me. No.
So
no. I would never go back to the store to ask my money back.
Right. So what were you gonna do with them?
I probably would have been back on the app and had them recycles for another day for whoever else.
Listen,
but we don't have to cross that bridge because we never got to that point.
So like this was the first time I've ever gotten like flowers out on a date, and literally I've never really been on that many dates, but this was the first time, and it like really resonated with me, the flowers or whatever, and it was so sweet. And like when I left him, I called my mom and I called my brother, and I showed them the flowers, and I was like, oh, he gave me flowers. So yeah, I called my mom and my brother, and I'm like, oh, I just went on my date with him, and like it was good, and he gave me flowers or whatever. So
the question to you all: if I thought she was unattractive, should I still have given her the roses? Or recycle, hit the reset button?
He knew better. But we want to know what y'all think, right? Like he knew better because he knew who he was going on a date with, right? And I'm quite sure all the other dates he went on,
I'll never tell.
Anyway, he says he'll never tell. But, whatever. I guess gentlemen never tell, right?
Right.
And he's a gentleman. So, so we leave the date. He gives me the flowers. I call my mom and my brother driving away. Literally, I'm really up the block from where I live.
Walking distance, literally. No cap. Walking distance.
Yeah, I literally walk past there every day on my walk. But nevertheless, he calls me after I call my brother. So I hang up the phone with them and I answer his call. And, me and my whole paranoid New York state of mind, I drive
past the house doing zigzags and U-turns to throw me off the scent.
Yeah, because I'm
just in case my brother is crazy.
Yeah.
Know what I mean, son? Those cats up top crazy.
I'm like, what if he follows me home? Like, no. So I do all these rigmaroles and go all around. So like, in case he's following me, that, hopefully I'm like, hopefully I'm throwing him off, like, even if he was trying to follow me, because you never know. Like, people are crazy out here, and you can't trust anybody. So I do all of that. He calls me in the midst of my maneuvering to get him off my scent to go home, and I speak to him all the way home while he's driving the
45 minutes an hour.
Almost an hour back to his house. And that was our first date, right? Like, I felt like it was a good first date.
Great first date. That's why we had date number 2. Stay tuned.
The next day.
Next day. Joe don't play.
Next day, Joe don't play. So, yeah, stay tuned. And we'll let you know how date 2 went.